So how did the NFL choir come about?
You know what? It started about 14 years ago. So it's called the Super Bowl Gospel Celebration. It's the only NFL sanctioned gospel event that takes place at the site of the Super Bowl every year. And Melanie Few, who is the producer of it, the founder of this choir, she had this vision because at one of those shows, Miss Patty LaBelle, she said, "Man, I see all these handsome NFL dudes out in the crowd, but I don't think any of them can sing." And actually, guys started coming up, taking the mic and singing, and that was kind of the thought of, man, there's a lot of talent actually in the league, musical talent, I should say. And that's how it started. So ever since then, we've been getting together at least once a year to, to perform. We would do charity events. And this year, though, it was an opportunity to come on to America's Got Talent. So we all said, you know what? Let's take the shot. Let's just go after it. If anything else, it'll be entertaining for the folks at home.
Yeah. So you guys, first of all, you look great. I love the orange sweat. It looks great. Who came up with that? Who was the mastermind behind this look? Because it's a good one. I like it.
You know what? We can't even say it was one of us. That is definitely the producers, the stylists of AGT. Because we sweat through these things with quickness. Like we got hands.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes. You can bring it out like a mop at the end of our performance.
So, I mean, singing is, probably a lot more difficult than, playing in the NFL when you think about it, because it's not what you guys trained for all these years. So who were some of your inspirations musically?
Oh, wow. I was a big Michael Jackson fan coming up, so watching the way he performed and then watching movies and documentaries about how the whole Jackson 5 were raised at a young age, that was very inspiring to see what they put into their performances.
I was a Stevie Wonder fan growing up. He was a big inspiration for me.
Kirk Franklin probably did it for me. Just like Tully said, just the performance part and his stage presence.
I'm more of a quartet guy. Into spirituals, Mighty Clouds of Joy.
Yeah. So you guys talked about how the choir came about, but how did you guys specifically to get together? Because from what I know, it's just a group of guys that got together right now. So how did this specifically, you guys, happen?
Yeah, well, it was kind of an offshoot. So normally at the Super Bowl Gospel Celebration, at one point there could be like 40 guys up there, both current and former guys. And, when it was brought about, the AGT, we just kind of said, well, you know what? Let's call the guys who were available to do it. And there were some other younger current guys, and kind of a cool story with Tully right here. So we had caught up at the Super Bowl in LA at a player event, and just catching up. We were in the same draft class, 3. Ooh, we're talking our age, man. Woo, gosh. Oh. But in any case, I hit him. We found out he sang, so I just hit him on a text. I was like, "Yo, you sing?" He's like, "I do a little something." I said, "You want to be part of this choir?" I'm in. Cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool. So, can you guys give us a little sound of what it sounds like from the four of you?
I would love to, man. No, I'm just playing. We can't do it, man. We're not allowed.
Not allowed. I love it.
You got
Keep it under wraps.
Hey,
tomorrow
I respect the plug. So, Prince, I got to ask you, and if you can't answer or you don't want to, I got you. I'm a big Giants fan, so I followed your career a little bit, but you're currently, most recently on the Saints. Are you planning to retire? Are you planning to look for another team? Because I know last year you were saying 2020 was tough, and you still got that fight in you. I think you still got the fight in you. But what's going on? I got to get a little insight if you can give me something.
Yeah, I will say that I am considering playing this year, but if AGT takes off, my commitment is here.
All right. I like I said, I get it. I don't want to make you feel like you got to retire on the spot. I was just curious what's going on there. And then another quick question. Again, I said I'm a Giants fan. This is a recurring debate that myself and the guys have had 100 times, and everybody else can chime in. But you specifically played with Eli, so you have probably the best insight on this. We have debated, I cannot tell you how many times, if Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, Now, they argue with me all the time. No, he's not. No, he's not. I've said, not just because I'm a fan, but I've watched him. I've seen his career. He's a great quarterback. What are your thoughts? You played against him, on practice days, I'm sure, plenty, but you also played with him for so many years. So what do you think?
Well, first off, the guy above you, he kind of looks like Ben Roethlisberger.
Wow, I look like Big Ben.
JB, I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
I don't know.
And then second of all, hands down, no brainer. It's a no brainer. Eli's a Hall of Famer. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP. And
You were there for one of them.
Exactly. And he started and played every single snap until there was a hiccup with Ben McAdoo as coaching, but he's so durable. It's 100%.
I love it. And if you guys have thoughts, please chime in. I'm just asking Prince just because he played for the Giants. So I didn't want you guys to feel excluded on that. If you guys got thoughts, please chime in.
No thoughts on that.
I think it's a short bet, man.
All right. I like it.
A long time, though, after Brady, though. Let Brady get in, and then Eli.
All right. That's fair enough.
I was sure for
that. You know why he said there. Ruined that perfect season until he was off.
No, I wasn't on that team.
You weren't on that team.
I dodged that bullet. I was on the Niners.
I was gonna say that must have been real painful to be there for that. I couldn't imagine. That's
It was actually fun to watch because I was like, the year before I was there, and I was like, if they can't win it now that I left, so now I'm the reason why they lost.
You feel like, man, if I was there, we would have stopped them. We would have won that game.
Play, Eli did a little,
right.
Gave all those guys. That was the boy on that.
See that? You know what? Now we got the inside scoop. Why the Patriots lost? They're missing one key player. That's it.
That's why they brought me back too.
See?
Exactly.
Makes sense.
So having played with Tom Brady and watching him in practice and on game day, what makes him, the GOAT? What does he do that nobody else does? Because looking at him, he's obviously not the most talented. There's guys that are faster, have better arms, but why is he the GOAT? Why does he go out there and win? Except when he plays Eli. That's for you, Jake.
Like I said, I wasn't there for that. But Tom is just like, he outworks everybody in the room, man. So as you know, hard work beats talent. And he's also super smart, super brilliant, student of the game. He can break down film with the best of them. He can break it down with coaches. And he can recognize defenses with the blink of an eye. So I would say just a combination of hard work and then being able to not only throw the ball, but recognize and have a good chemistry with his receivers and get everybody up to that level of play. That's why he's a dominant player.
There you go.
So if you guys can recruit anybody in the NFL to sing with you guys in the choir, who's not in the choir that we'd want to have? Because we saw your guys' video and we loved it. You guys were phenomenal.
We thought it was great.
But if
you talking about current or former?
Either. It could be either.
Who has that voice that we would be like, wow, I can't believe it?
That's tough. That's really tough. Now, I will say, I know there's a lot of guys out there that are extremely talented when it comes to instruments. And we have some guys that can play within the choir, but, to round that out a little bit, there's a couple of guys I can think of. One that comes to mind, Doug Flutie's real nice on the drums.
Really?
All right.
Yeah. And I want to say, I think Kyle Turley, he's a guitar guy.
I can see that.
Yeah.
He can sing too.
Maybe we need to get Ray Lewis in here to give us the inspiration beforehand. He'll get us going, get us hyped.
He'll get you real fired up.
That's some rappers.
AB is a rapper.
Antonio, that's right.
Hey, I would say Marvin Jones, the receiver from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He could sing. He has a great voice. I think I don't know if he was on an NFL show, but he debuted his voice and he could sing real well.
How do you think Patrick Mahomes would do singing with you guys with that Kermit voice?
Give him a dance break.
Yeah, we'll put some auto-tune on his mic.
There you go. So, all right. So let me ask you, what is each of yours? I want to know each of yours favorite moment as a player, because there's got to be one. I know there's got to be one.
I'll just play questions.
Well, so I guess I'll start back here. I don't know if it's favorite moment, but definitely one of the most memorable. In 2006, I was with the New Orleans Saints, and we opened up Monday night with the Atlanta Falcons. And when Steve Gleason went and blocked that punt, and then we scored off of that punt, it really was almost the rebirth of the city right there. I don't think I've ever been in a stadium that got louder than that moment. And you go back and look at it, and with Steve having a statue outside of the stadium blocking the punt in that moment, that was really special.
I have to remember that I played with Michael Vick, so getting to watch him every week, that was something special to see. I mean, he did not let you down, even as a teammate. But the most memorable moment, we had a guy, D'Angelo Hall, and somehow he and Terrell Owens, they would go back and forth with each other. I think T.O. even sent the note. He even sent a note like, I'm going to bust you down. So and was all on that. And, oh, man, T.O., he caught like 2 fades, was it? Yeah, he was on fire. Hell, he couldn't be stopped, so that was good to watch.
I would say for me, I mean, the Super Bowls are 2 Super Bowls are awesome, but a defining moment for me was against Green Bay, my second to last year in 2009. I had 10 sacks that year, and Belichick during the Green Bay game, I got a personal foul. There was a scuffle going on, and I came in and knocked the guy off the pile, and I got a foul. I got sent to the side. Belichick pulled me off the field. And I was like, man, I'm in the doghouse. I'm probably going to play again. It's it. It's over. And they started driving. It was a 2-minute drill. And it was the fourth quarter, 30 seconds left. Bill says, Tully, get back in the game. I go in. I make a spin move, strip sack. Vince Wilfork recovers the fumble. We win the game. And I was out of the doghouse. So for me,
Always forgiven.
Yeah, other than the Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2011-12, it would have to be, it was my first play of my entire NFL career. I just came off a broken foot. Vince Young's at quarterback. Deshaun Jackson is at wide receiver, one of the fastest wide receivers at the time. I get in, and then he's pointing at me saying, Vince, we got fresh meat out here. There's no blood. And so usually when a corner hears that, they're running a go route. And so I just ran the route for him, and then my first play, I got an interception. So that was pretty sweet. Nice.
That's a sweet memory against a team I know you didn't like, and I know everybody on that team was like, man, we got to get a win, right? We got to make that play. I'm sure that was like the perfect way to start your career, right? You get in the good graces of the coaches, all your teammates, everybody. You go out there and you just say, hey, don't try me. You get the interception. Everybody's like, yeah, good job. I'm sure that was phenomenal. Yeah, I remember that. Funny enough, yeah.
Eric, thanks for showing
Eric,
up.
you decided to join us. How nice, guys! Eric is our other partner, and he's currently muted. I don't know if he knows that.
Yeah.
Eric, you gotta unmute yourself.
That would be the case. Yeah, sorry about my tardiness, as JB will tell you, and I'm much like him. I hate being late, but I won't tell you guys because you don't need to know. I'll tell the rest of the crew, but thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. I was in the back just kind of listening to some stuff. So,
Eric, if you got questions, go.
you know what? I really don't. I know John has done a phenomenal job being at the Hall of Fame game and getting this whole thing set up. I really appreciate all of you taking the time to speak with the crew. I'll get the rundown in a little bit. I'll let you guys just keep going. I'm just back here taking notes. So
all good.
Yeah. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, who was you guys' favorite player or coach inducted this past weekend?
Well, me personally, I played with both Richard Seymour and Brian Young. And the only reason why I wasn't there is because of AGT and how important this is for the team we have here.
Right.
But playing with both of those guys was an honor, and no one's more well-deserved than those 2 guys. So proud moment for them.
Prince?
Yeah, mine would be BY, Brian Young. I just recently met him and his wife last year and got to learn about their story that they dealt with their son, and just got to learn more about him and who he stands for as a man. So I'm a huge fan of him.
Shout out to Kobe.
Yeah, I think Kim and I probably share the same one.
Sam Mills.
Sam Mills. And for me, so I played with his son, Marcus Mills, at Penn State. And
Oh, wow.
So I got to know the story, and I mean, he was hey, we are really.
We are, baby. We are.
Like you, sir. So yeah, so I think that was really good, you know, especially for the family, because that's well deserved. It's been a long time coming.
That's awesome.
So
Speaking,
how did the,
okay, Jerry.
hang on a second. How did the choir get involved in AGT? I mean, because that's a great opportunity and a great place to showcase, you know, what you guys do. But how did that opportunity come about? And what happens if you win tomorrow, or when you win tomorrow?
They win it all. That's what happens. They win everything. That's $100 grand, and it's the real deal. Come on now.
Well, a few of us of the choir, we performed at the Pro Bowl this year, sang the national anthem. And I think just one of the producers kind of caught wind of it and said, man, I think it would be a really interesting story if you guys, you know, auditioned. So we kind of had a round table. We thought about it. One day we thought, oh, we should. Other days we were like, maybe not. But ultimately we said, you know what, what the heck, let's just go for it. And so, you know, what's really neat is, yes, if you win, then you go and you have a headline show out in Vegas, and there's $1 million involved. But normally we always go and we sing for charity. So that's our way also of giving back, you know, making sure we still continue to support the charities that are out there.
That's awesome. So back to football related stuff, because you guys are talking about, you know, your favorite Hall of Fame player that was inducted, you know, this past weekend. But who was your favorite player to play with? Each of you, your favorite teammate? Because I mean, I heard a couple names thrown around. I heard T.O. thrown around. So I was like, oh, all right. You know, there's some. I guarantee you, there's some fun names out there. You know, you guys talking about Richard Seymour. So I'm curious who that favorite player for each of you, that favorite teammate was.
I mean, Tom Brady is an easy toss up, but I would still say Randy Moss was probably my favorite teammate, just because I had known nothing about him but what people said about him, and there was always this perception of him being kind of like a badass and hard to get along with, and just kind of like having an attitude. But he's completely the opposite. I mean, he's just the most awesome, friendliest, uplifting, talks to everybody in the locker room. So, and then he was just a baller, flat out baller. Everything you saw in games, he would do that in practice and then some. So one hand grabs, bossing people, like he took pride in it. So he was amazing, man. So he was probably my favorite, other than Tom.
One of my favorite guys, and still really good friends to this day, Fred Jackson, because his story was just outstanding. For those that don't know, Division III guy, you know, made the league, was on practice squad for a while, got the call up, and I mean, he's just an honorable man, a father, you know, husband, but his tenacity, his will to want to win week in and week out, it was just really inspiring. We were, you know, I sat next to him. He was right next to me in the locker room for all my years in Buffalo. So got really tight with him. But it was just really good to see him emerge. And, you know, he wrote this incredible story. So the underdog, winning.
Mine would have to be either Khalil Mack or Odell Beckham. And I would say mainly those two, just because, like, they're very polarized and they're obviously famous and they're the best at what they do. So anytime you play with one of those guys, you like, there's more of a microscope on them to see how they act. Are they generous? Are they a diva and stuff like that? And Odell's been awesome, and so has Khalil.
Yeah, I'm gonna toot somebody's horn today. Stay in the same position that I played in. It was a connection from the start. This young man back there, we actually played together, me and Brian and I. And when I came in, being I guess a free agent guy, and he brought me under his wing, you know, accepted me in the locker room, and we connected even then through music. So, and another guy was Lawyer Malloy, another safety. And man, we were like this, you know. So those are two guys that I connected with.
Thanks, Cam.
You the man.
Brian, did anybody ever tell you you kind of have a voice like Charles Davis, the football announcer? You kind of sound like him. You have a really good TV
I
voice.
agree.
Like you have a great TV voice. I mean, that was what I was thinking. You kind of sound like Charles Davis.
Hopefully America thinks that when we go on stage.
Tomorrow night, 8:00.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Hey.
Christina just sent a message. We got to get you guys out. So personally, I just wanted to say thank you. I know you guys got to get back to rehearsal. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I love talking to you guys.
So much.
I wish we had more time. I really do.
We definitely appreciate you guys taking the time. Hopefully you come back after you win. You know, we love to talk about it, what the experience was like, because, you know, right now you're practicing for this huge event on AGT. But after you win, I'd love to feel, you know, hear what it's like compared to winning a Super Bowl, compared to winning AGT, or, you know, winning some great games. So, you know, definitely you guys are always welcome back on Sideline Sports. You know, tell everyone in the choir and, you know, all the people you know from the league, they're always welcome to stop by, and we're always willing to have them on. But best of luck, guys, and we look forward to putting this out. And, you know, thanks for taking the time to